Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this thing that happens every now and then, I think.
This is probably going to be the last episode you're going to see in about 3 months. Um, but you don't watch anyway, so who fucking cares? Oh wait,
This is,
we're not allowed to swear on YouTube anymore, aren't we?
we're not monetized. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Right?
Fair enough.
Also, I think that's
As soon
gamers
as we
aren't
get
allowed to
monetized.
swear. I think other things that swear are doing fine.
Oh, gamers aren't allowed to fucking look at a gun because we're all fucking psychopaths.
Wow, just jumping right in, huh?
I
I
mean,
know. I thought we'd save that for a little later,
About to
but
say,
I
yeah,
guess not.
can we, at least introduce ourselves first?
no. You fucking set me up for a segue. I had to take it.
So I am the love child between Skrillex and that thing from the first Toy Story.
Which thing? Oh, that
The
thing?
zombie robot
I don't like
baby
I don't
head
want
thing.
to
Oh,
be
God.
friends anymore. Leave.
Here's your eviction notice.
I'm Tashel.
I'm Derek.
I'm dead inside.
And I always want to say, and together we are the Ig'rance podcast. But when I say the Ig'rance podcast, you two are supposed to join in, and you never do.
You see, we have to discuss things like this ahead of time if we're gonna have like a mantra.
Okay, well, let's do it now. All right, Tashel, start.
What?
Start with
You
what?
say I'm Tashel
What?
first. God damn it.
Oh, okay. I'm Skrillex.
I'm Derek.
I'm dead inside.
And together, we are
We are
the Ig'rance
the Ignorance
podcast.
Podcast.
Josh, you're fired.
The unsubscribe button is like in one of the corners.
Leave your gun and your badge on your
And-
desk. Get out.
And now that you see how uncomfortable that was, let's never do it again.
You guys are just babies.
I'm a 33% stakeholder in this company.
You're not committed to the cause.
So, guys, this is a thing that like we do.
Yeah, usually we have like a sheet of paper on one of our monitors that's like has a list of topics we're talking about.
Not
We
a
don't have that
document.
today.
We just tape a piece of paper to the monitor.
But some people in our group thought it'd be better to just freeball it. So let's see how this goes.
That ain't-
I'm freeballing right now.
I don't have pants on.
TMI.
I mean, if I gave Josh my... but then... Because I'm not wearing underwear. Yeah. So I guess, I don't
Yeah,
know, we
it-
can... Do we want to do...
Speaking of pitching a tent,
Whoa.
J.J. Abrams is pitching Superman and Green Lantern reboots to DC.
That was that was an incredibly seamless segue.
This is like a 6 out of 10.
Damn it.
A 6 out of 10.
Yeah. A lot of points for effort on that one. I mean, not everything could just swing in a, home run, but didn't strike out. But what did you say? He's pitching.
There's the rumors that J.J. Abrams is pitching a Superman and Green Lantern reboot to DC. Want? Don't want?
Don't want right now.
Based on his last movies, don't want it all. Ever. From J.J. Abrams.
Well, he wasn't that involved in 8.
Yeah, but he did Star Trek and The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens wasn't a bad movie.
Okay, fair enough. Force Awakens wasn't a bad movie, but The Last
A New
Jedi
Hope
was...
is a good movie.
I mean, yeah.
I like A New Hope.
I mean, yeah, he didn't write The Force Awakens. He just directed A New Hope.
Look at you, Josh. You got bars. J.J. Abrams
Was that a
is gonna
bar?
fuck your wife, though.
Joke's on you, I'm an incel.
Yeah, we should have come up with topics beforehand. Now Josh starting about. You know what, Josh? We're gonna find you some pussy. It's out there somewhere. Just roaming in the wild. Some nice quality free range pussy for our boy.
Folks.
I got legit straight cucked a couple of weeks ago, but that's a story for off camera.
It could be a story for on camera. Yeah, you can't mention it in
to
blue
say,
balls our viewers.
Just like I was blue balled.
Tell the story, Josh. We don't have shit else to talk about.
All right, fine, fuck. There is a girl that I've been flirting with, or that I was flirting with for a couple weeks before I went back to my home state.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she was single and whatever, and then like she stopped talking to me for a week, and then I went to my home state and we met up, and like I was trying to fucking slide into the DMs I was trying to get some free range pussy.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever we met up, she was wearing like a tank top, and I noticed that she had some really pronounced bite marks on her arm. And I'm like, oh, I see. And she's like, oh yeah, I got a boyfriend last week. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. And unfortunately, I had to like commit to the couple hours that we were together.
Wait.
I have a boyfriend, but also, by the way, I just like to bite myself. So
Wait. They've been dating for a week, and dude, that nigga moves fast.
Right? Well, she said
Shout outs to my
that
guy.
she said it was a previous ex that she had.
So
who bit her?
That's her thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was his thing. You know what? Shout outs to
that-
niggas who were into biting.
Yeah, that's her thing, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's a straight cuck.
I mean,
Would you have wanted to be with somebody who bites themselves?
That'd be interesting.
I mean, it's not the worst thing, you know. If she was like, "I want you to," never mind.
In fact, where the bite marks were, I would be impressed. Actually,
Where were they?
because they were like on the back side of her upper bicep,
Yes.
like just below the shoulder. Like if you could get pronounced bite marks there by yourself, fuck.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just tried and I almost really hurt myself.
That's like worse than trying to lick your own elbow.
I can lick my elbow.
All right, you're fired.
I can lick the left one.
I can lick both.
I'm doing
I have
it
a
right
super long
now.
tongue, though.
Yeah, well, I can lick my own left testicle, so
Just the left one, just one long, droopy,
Just the-
pendulous testicle. Oh, so this is what happens when we don't have anything to talk about, huh? We talk about Josh's strokey ball sack. Is that what it looks like, Josh?
J.J.
Looks like a
Abrams.
ball.
We were
Okay.
talking about J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams, goddammit.
that's what The Last Jedi fucking evokes.
Last Jedi?
The desire to lick one's own testicle.
Images of droopy ball sacks.
Hold on. The Last Jedi. Let's Google it and go to images. How long does it take until I get to something that kind of looks like a droopy ball sack?
I mean, all of the architecture in Star Wars is extremely phallic. All of the damn ships look like giant dicks.
If your dick looks like that, you should go see a doctor.
Oh, you want to know what looks like a droopy ball sack? Snow.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was scrolling and then I saw him and I was like, yeah, he's got some scrotum going on and he looks a little strokey. But I mean, back to what we were actually trying to have a conversation about. I don't know. It's whatever, I guess. Like, obviously, the franchise is not in a great spot right now, and the directing ability that J.J. Abrams has is like below. Like his ability in his like left ball sack or his left testicle is like more than 8 Zack Snyders combined. So,
Wow. Wow.
I mean, yeah, fair enough, but also I don't want them to do the Green Lantern that way again.
I just don't care, honestly. Like, I feel like DC's just dead right now, and we need to, like... I'm gonna make an Overwatch analogy. Like, when, like, 3 people on your team die, and you're like, alright, just everyone get out, and, we'll regroup as 6 for the next fight, and everyone just slowly trickles in for, like, 5 minutes, and you just lose because of that.
Well, you see, Derek, Overwatch is dead.
It's not at all true. We can have
I
that
don't know,
conversation. I think that's just blowing out of the water. It's not dead. It's not as big as it was in 2017, but, like...
When I have to sit in a queue for longer than 10 seconds, the game is fucking dead.
When was the last time you queued for ranked? Because, like, legitimately a few days ago, I queued, and as I clicked cancel queue, I got put in the game. Like, my queue times have been, like, 5 seconds max.
I queued one day for, like, 10 minutes, and I never even got in game.
Oh, I had that happen, but, like, I don't know what happens, but, like, in the past, like, 6 months, like, the queue times have been, like, instant. Not 6, the past, like, month and a half. That's a huge overstatement. I just made it first. But the past, like, month and a half, the queue times have been really fast. But
you meant to say 6 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think the game... That's just... I don't know. I get people... I don't know. No game... For a game to hold its peak popularity 2 years... Or, 3 years after its release... There are very few games that are able to do that.
Then you'd be called Team Fortress 2.
Yeah. Or, Fortnite.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But yeah, back to, Joseph Abrams. What's J.J. Abrams' actual name?
JoJo?
Now that would be a Superman I want to see.
I would love to see the Superman JoJo's crossover. Jeffrey Jacob Abrams.
I like Joseph better.
Who do you think J.J.
that,
Abrams' favorite Joe star is, Josh?
Jonathan? No, not Jonathan. The original one. Fuck, what's his name? Joseph Joestar.
Okay,
yeah.
J.J. Abrams looks like a pretty vanilla kind of guy.
Yeah. No, he just likes the originals. That's why he remakes them.
Oh, okay. I see. But I don't know. I mean, what with Ben Affleck, because in our, like, looking for shit to talk about today, didn't go well, clearly. One thing that I saw was, Ben Affleck, like, whatever he was working on, he is, like, really like, no, I'm not doing that shit anymore.
Yep, Henry Cavill is still up in the air whether or not he has or hasn't left DC.
Been very
Meanwhile, their direct competition, Marvel, the Avengers Endgame film a couple of weeks ago, officially became the highest grossing film of all time.
See, Tashel, that was a great segue.
See that?
Yeah.
So,
And
I don't know.
Also, the new Spider-Man movie was pretty good.
Which one do we want to do first, Spider-Man or Endgame? Or Endgame number 1? I guess Endgame number 1, because there's, like, fuck all to talk about with that.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, congrats. I much prefer Endgame to the 2 movies that were ahead of it, so...
I'm actually kind of interested now. How many fucking Disney properties are on the top 10?
I think we looked into this, and it was, like, 12 or something like that. Or top 10? Might be, I don't know.
It's majority Disney, especially now that they've bought 20th Century.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at the highest grossing movies of all time. Endgame is number 1. Force Awakens is number 4. Infinity War is number 5. Avengers is number 7. Avengers 2 is number 9. Black Panther's 10. Lion King is 12. So, wait, what was that before Lion King?
But you totally skipped over Avatar. Avatar is 20th Century Fox.
Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 of the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time Disney owns.
70%.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
It's Paramount and 20th Century.
Right.
So like 78%.
And then if we're doing top 20, we also get Lion King, Star Wars, Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, Incredibles 2, Iron Man 3.
Good lord. Let's not storm Area 51. Let's just fucking storm Disney and kill them out.
You'll get even less far going into Disney than Area 51.
Just for saying that, I've probably got like 3 snipers on my back right now.
They're watching.
The second we started this conversation, the drones started circling our houses.
The drones from Far From Home.
With Mickey Mouse ears on them.
That's adorable.
Well, Disney doesn't own Facebook or Google, so they don't really know our location yet.
Oh, yes,
but
they do.
I'm sure
Facebook and Google have sold our information to literally
yeah.
everyone.
Disney.
Disney is just feeding money into Google, and it's just providing live updates.
So, one thing that I didn't like that just happened, I said Google, and I have a Google Pixel.
Oh, did it open?
Yeah, it just opened, and it's like, no, you don't need to search what I'm speaking about right now, Google.
You don't listen to me, Google.
Um,
I have to say, hey Google or okay.
I
Google.
usually
Like, damn it.
I usually have to say
my
that
phone
as
is
well, but and now it just did it, didn't it?
Yeah, my phone was like really far away from me, and I heard it vibrate. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. The time is now. The robots are coming. They're gonna fuck our wives, and
No, robot's gonna fuck my wife.
we're not a political
guy
podcast,
running for-
but
There's a guy running for president. His name is Andrew Yang. And one of the big things in his platform is that he's afraid that technology is just making, certain jobs redundant. And so a really funny meme that I like is every time somebody talks about Andrew Yang, it was like, "It's Andrew Yang, he's scared robots gonna fuck my wife." Like, if you ever watch, like, the presidential debates and stuff, and you look at the live chat, every time Andrew Yang comes on, everyone's just like, "Oh, robot's gonna fuck my wife, robot's gonna fuck my wife."
I'm glad that when I searched up Andrew Yang, one of the pictures was him like deep throating a turkey leg.
oh, dude, he's going in. But that face is like, if we remember, we'll throw that up in the video. Almost definitely not gonna happen. Don't get your hopes up, but
Andrew Yang, yeah, he's an interesting person. Obviously, we're not a political podcast, so I won't go too deep into him, but
if
yeah,
you don't want the robots to fuck your wife, he's your guy.
There you go.
But Spider-Man, we were talking about that for like 5 seconds, and then
we all saw Far From Home, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I don't like about the Far From Home poster is like the pose that Tom Holland is in. Like, I feel like normally in this they would have cut it off at his hip, but it's not, so you can just kind of see some of Tom Holland's like flat ass.
Tom Holland does not have a flat ass, by the way.
He does in this picture. Tom Holland's dummy's thick.
He is dummy thick.
Let me see. Tom Holland. Never in my life would I thought that. This is what happens when we. Oh my god.
Right? He's actually dummy thick.
Tom Holland is caked up.
The first picture I saw on Google was a comparison of his ass and Brie. What's her last? Brie Larson's ass.
Yeah. Dude,
Don't mind Tom.
good for Tom. Dummy thick for a white guy, but I guess I don't know if does that translate. Like, white girls typically have smaller asses. Do white men have smaller asses than black men?
I think it depends if you work out or not. But I black guys do usually have bigger buttocks than white guys do.
All right. See, the Ig'rance podcast, we answered the questions everyone wants to know. Your favorite podcast would never go this far. We are all about the truth and the facts on this one. We eyeballed it.
Oh, well, if we're doing truth and
But,
facts, apparently that picture of thick Tom Holland is fake.
Ah, get the fuck out of here.
Far From Home is the highest grossing Spider-Man movie of all of them.
It's
now.
also I mean, like 5 of them are bad, or 4 of them are bad.
Yeah, I'd agree
1,
with that.
3, and then both amazings.
Now.
Um.
Let's not get carried away.
All right, now Josh is just posting Rule 34. Almost of is that Iron Man?
Also,
or
Peter
Cap?
is Peter. That's Captain America. Peter's like 16.
Yeah,
Come
nah,
on,
dude,
Josh.
I mean, there ain't no dicks out yet.
Josh, you trying to get us out of here?
Maybe.
Bitch, I might be.
Bitch, I might be. But okay, so I guess we can do. I mean, I'm sure everyone listening has already had the review of Far From Home.
We could give our very, very brief thoughts then, I guess.
Yeah. Thumbs up,
It's-
thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
I say thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I think of the live action ones, like if I saw this one on TV, I would probably watch it before any of the other ones.
Yeah, I think that I think because we did the same thing for Amazing, or the first one. What was the first Spider-Man movie?
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Yeah. I think we did the same thing for Homecoming, where we talked about how this is like one of the, like, the characters feel like people, and this is kind of the first time we've had that.
I think this one honestly is way better than Homecoming.
I agree. I don't know if way
Y'all
better, but I
think-
think it's better than Homecoming.
Y'all think that because Iron Man's dead.
I mean, kind of, but we'll get into that later. But 1 second, I'm gonna clear my throat, and I don't think y'all want to hear.
Well, don't.
Tashel
don't
might have
fucking
been able to
assume.
pick that up on his mic because he's.
I didn't
And I'm not
hear
gonna
it, so-
take it out, so
Alright. But the character relationships in this, like Peter Parker and
MJ.
yeah, Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya, not MJ,
Yeah.
just Zendaya.
But that felt like very.
I thought it was
organic,
really,
and
really, really
it's-
sweet.
It's one of the few times where like awkwardness isn't cringy. It's like cute awkwardness.
That was when they had that like, confession scene at the very, very end. That was easily my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
They have ridiculous chemistry.
Yeah. Well, and I mean Zendaya is obviously a pretty talented actress, and
And Tom is too.
yeah,
Also, Zendaya, like in her pictures, looks nothing like the MJ character.
what do you mean?
Like,
She's more glamorous in real
Oh,
life,
yeah.
you mean?
yeah.
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 And she's a very pretty lady.
I preferred her as the MJ.
Well, you're a
in her
nerd.
glamour
so.
pictures. Well, fair enough.
Also, Josh is a member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, so.
Yeah.
But Josh also, I don't know how Josh feels. I don't know what the fuck ethnicity is Zendaya.
She's black.
she?
She's probably mixed, but she's
Yeah.
definitely black. She's mixed with something though.
What? Fucking
You
what?
know. She's a tomorrow person.
A what? Tomorrow
We're
person?
all gonna look
okay,
like-
yeah, we're all. I mean,
yeah.
if everyone looks like Zendaya in like 50 years, and that's not that bad. You white supremacists
That's
gotta
a sweet
calm
gig.
down.
I hope that wasn't too political to say that, by the
I
way.
don't think so.
I hope nobody listening is triggered by the fact that you called out white supremacists.
I was about to say, like, I mean, if they are, then like, please click that X in the top right hand.
Yeah, you can
Like, we
leave. I
want
don't
you
actually
here.
care.
Yeah.
I don't think we need white supremacist apologists listening to our podcast.
Good.
Oh no, she's black white mixed.
Just white?
Yeah.
I would have thought there was some. I don't know.
Nah, her parents.
I like how Josh. Are you like seriously like? I must. Know.
I just looked up ethnicity
Yeah.
and like it showed me a picture of her parents.
That's her mother.
That's her mother.
She don't look
Oh
nothing
my
like
god.
She
And
doesn't
this
look
is
anything.
the father.
Wow. Okay. I would have never thought A plus B would equal C, but hey, you know.
fucking negative attractiveness equals like.
Hey, we did not say all that, Josh.
We're not attacking people's parents because I might want Zendaya to be in something of mine one day. Let's not do that.
Zendaya seems like a very nice lady, and her parents did a
I was
great
about
job
to say
raising
I
her.
enjoy her.
We do not stand by the opinions of our co-host, especially when Josh says something. That's a ledge you can go out on your own, friend.
I hated the villain.
Oh,
though.
Mysterio. No, what's his name?
Yeah, it was
Mysterio.
Okay.
Mysterio.
I was like Mysterion, but that's South Park. But
I thought
I wish Mysterion was the villain.
that'd be awesome. I thought it's been a little while since we saw it, so I'm trying to exactly remember what his character was, but
He went
think
evil
I liked-
because Tony Stark made a fart joke about his technology.
so he's Syndrome.
Yes, but not
like-
like earned. Like it doesn't
It's
feel as
not a
earned as Syndrome.
comedy. And also, I think what they were going for near the end of the movie, where he's kind of like, spreading fake news. Why has this become such a political episode? But them playing with the idea of fake news, I just think is way more interesting than
What we actually
whatever bullshit he was trying in the movie.
Yeah. And
That spoiler alert, that end credit scene where he reveals Spider-Man's identity. I'm like, I actually would have preferred if that was just the plot of the movie.
that's the plot of the third
that was
movie.
way more interesting than.
I don't know how well
Yeah.
that hype. I mean, it doesn't matter how well, like, you know what I mean? We're not going to be hyped for like 2 years or whatever. Granted, it doesn't actually matter because when this movie comes out in 2 years, we're going to see it regardless.
Well, we don't matter because we're burned out of superhero movies
Right.
anyway. But I don't think the average person is. I think for most people, that was a very smart move to leave such a big bomb at the end of this movie.
Well, I don't know. I just think that like the era that we're in, cliffhangers don't matter as much because we're so sold on a franchise. Like the franchise that Disney has built. Disney could release literally whatever they wanted and people would see it because it's Disney's Marvel. Like,
Disney's Marvel.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean,
Yeah, Disney always gets top billing.
well, duh, but
Disney's Marvel's Spider-Man
yeah,
Homecoming.
like Disney could release a movie about like two turds fighting each other, and I
I
guarantee.
like how you didn't even like mention Sony in that, by the way.
Well, honestly, let's keep it real, Josh. Sony had how many tries at Spider-Man, and none of them have
Yeah,
been
but
as successful as, except for maybe Spider-Man 3.
Sony still technically owns the rights to Spider-Man. They're just
Technically.
allowing Disney to make the movie for them.
Technically.
This is Disney's.
And they only, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they only own his likeness in the movies. I know for a fact Spider-Man has been in Disney cartoons.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is like Sony trying to, be cute and hold this as long as they can, but it's, I think, very clear.
Zendaya's
who-
5'10".
I think it's very clear who Spider-Man's
Sorry, I just had like the
true owner
Wikipedia tab
is.
open, and I looked to my left, and I was like, huh. But I mean, it was a good movie. I agree with what you said, Tashel, where I don't think that Mysterio was like. I mean, but that's just Marvel doesn't do a great job with villains.
Usually.
Which is weird because a lot of people online were really saying he was one of the top Marvel villains. I'm like, if he is, that's sad.
Yeah, I just think he's so boring, and it was predictable as all. Like ignoring the fact that obviously he's like if you're a fan of Spider-Man, you know Mysterio's a villain, but ignoring that, it just was so, I guess, predictable from that standpoint. Like, duh. And I don't know what he wanted, just didn't seem quite there for me.
What did you think, Josh?
About Mysterio?
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty bland. I will well no, I was even about to say that I didn't predict him being the villain, but no, I did.
Did you know because you knew Mysterio is a villain, or was it just like
I didn't know
easy to
I didn't know
predict?
Mysterio as a character at all.
Okay. Because I knew because I like Spider-Man, so I already knew that Mysterio was bad, and I didn't know exactly what they were going to do. Like, I'll say this much: while it was predictable that it was going to
I didn't
turn,
know why.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I didn't think it was predictable that he was. In my opinion, I didn't think it was predictable that he was evil
The whole time.
Well,
like I was like,
yeah.
right, are they gonna make him switch or is something gonna happen?
I think that's kind of
I
my
didn't know how they were
issue
gonna
with
do it.
Mysterio is that I feel like the reason we were given for him being evil, I'm like, eh. Maybe it's just because like of the other villains that we've come off of recently with Marvel.
Thanos.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like we just left Thanos, or it's like, nah, nigga. Like his plan was like kind of
Thanos was a
what the
main
fuck?
character.
But well, he was in the first one.
Yeah, he was a protagonist, and that's why he was. He wasn't in the second movie.
Yeah, but he was still the villain, like even as the protagonist. But it felt earned. You know what I mean? Like we understood why he wanted what he wanted. Granted, if
Right.
you think about it,
Even
what
if
he
it was
wanted was stupid, but
It was ridiculous.
but it felt like earned. And Mysterio was just kind of like he made fun of my life's work, and now he's dead, and I want to. I want to be a superhero, I guess, but I have to kill people to do it first? Question mark. I want to be the next Iron Man.
I'm Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be. He didn't want to be a superhero. He wanted the fame and money that came with being a superhero.
But I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah.
I love that they brought back J.K. Simmons as
Yeah.
as J. Jonah Jameson. He's literally the best J. Jonah Jameson
Oh,
ever.
J.K. Simmons is that nigga.
Wait, was J.K. Simmons in that movie?
Yeah.
Did I miss that?
He was in the end credits.
Oh, I didn't see the end credits.
It's like a he's almost like a Rush Limbaugh
Yeah.
type character. Cuz he's like that in the PS4 Spider-Man game. So I guess that's like the angle that they're going with him. Excuse me, which is a fun way to update the character.
Yeah.
Cuz J. Jonah Jameson basically just is Glenn Beck or any of these radio people.
Oh, absolutely.
The ding dong spider people's coming to ding dong take your jobs.
All right, look at us getting political.
Can't help
J.K.
it.
Simmons is that dude, though. Like, I don't know. I mentioned this. Whiplash is one of my favorite movies of the past like 10 years, and yeah,
Should have won Best Picture.
I completely agree.
J.K. Simmons was also the best part of Portal 2.
Yeah.
His Cave Johnson character, I think. Like, he carries basically that second piece of that game.
J.K. Simmons doesn't get the respect he deserves.
He doesn't. He's amazing.
All right. What's next on our metaphorical, or not metaphorical, our non-existential,
Non-existent.
non-existent?
Let me
there
help you
go.
out. So I guess on the topic of Disney, we could talk about now that like they do own all their 20th Century Fox stuff. Disney has all but I guess said, like it's all rumors and speculation, all that, but there's a lot of talk that Disney has decided to put most of their Fox Marvel stuff on pause, like Fantastic Four and the X-Men and all that kind of stuff, because Dark Phoenix flopped and Disney doesn't do flops anymore.
I mean, that makes
They
sense
act like-
that they're gonna go back to the drawing board and
But I like that they just act like they haven't had multiple periods of flop. Now they're too good for flops. Okay.
I mean, that's how you trick everyone into thinking that everything they do is amazing. When you fuck up, you just don't acknowledge it.
That's why all these people won in the Treasure Island, or what is it, Treasure Planet remake.
Who wants
Never
that?
gonna happen. I've been seeing that on social media a lot. People's like, Forget the Lion King. This is what we want. We want this, and we want Atlantis. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Do you guys?
You like those movies because of nostalgia. Go watch those again. They have not aged well.
Especially,
at
I
all.
think Atlantis.
They flopped.
Actually,
for a
no,
reason.
both of them have aged like shit.
No, they both
Yeah.
suck. Atlantis at least has like, I mean, they both kind of have nice animation, but Atlantis just it's visually,
Right.
it's more interesting, I guess. Treasure Planet looks a little cheap.
Yeah.
For Disney standards.
Right.
Like you compare that to movies that came out before that, like Tarzan is gorgeous, and The Lion King is to this day still looks amazing. And then Treasure Planet comes out and it's like, oh, it kind of just looks like everybody else.
Did either of you two have the Treasure Planet game for the Game Boy?
Nope. I think Josh has checked out.
I was trying to look for that Spider-Man end credit scene,
Oh.
Oh.
and all I could find is fucking breakdowns.
No.
I remember. I don't know. I have like the Treasure Planet game for the Game Boy is just a weird game that like I have nostalgic memories of. I don't think it was good.
You know what I remember most about Treasure Planet? That little pink thing.
What pink thing?
Wasn't there like a little pink, like cute, like globby creature?
Pink
Or did
blob.
I just make that
Hold
up?
on. Oh, there is one. The pink blob looks
Okay.
like it should talk in a very deep black guy voice.
That's the only thing I remember about Treasure Planet.
Oh, and I remember it was
Like-
based off of Treasure Island.
Yeah, but like steampunk.
Yeah.
Because Atlantis also has Creasum in it, so points for that.
That's fair. Speaking of Lion King, none of us saw the Lion King.
And I'm not going to.
Yeah, I've already seen the Lion King like 20 times in my life, and I don't think that seeing it with animatronics is gonna make it look any better. Emotionless animatronics.
Honestly, I've only heard bad things. Like I've not, from people whose opinion I like respect, I've not heard one person come out of that and be like, you should go see it. Everyone's like, even the ones that didn't hate it were like, I mean, you wouldn't like it, so don't bother.
I just I don't think we actually mentioned. Well, I can't speak. We mentioned this, I think, when we were talking about Beauty and the Beast or something like that. It's just pointless.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast really ticked me off though, so I'll probably never see one of those after that.
Yeah.
Like Beauty and the Beast made me really angry. I hate that one.
Like, because the animals look realistic, the emotion is gone, and they're fucking lions. So, like, it's just a fucking...
This thing can kill me.
Well, yeah, like, just a plain-faced lion, it's kind of hard to feel any emotion for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, I'm so sad. Hey, you look the exact same as you have for the past hour, so, like...
The reason that does so well is that people fill in the gaps with their nostalgia.
Exactly. You're 100% right. To me, like, I don't get what a kid would get out of this more than they would get out of the original. Like, the original's more colorful, it's more upbeat, it's shorter, it's, I think, more timeless. Like, because this is not going to look good in 10 years. It already kind of looks shaky because the animals don't have any expression. So, like, look at Avatar today. That movie came out 10 years ago. Avatar doesn't look good anymore, and neither is Lion King. In 2029, this movie is going to be, a thing that made a bunch of money and nobody's going to care about. I hope that people will... The original will just stand the test of time more. It already has stood the test of time.
I think that in 10, 15 years, we're going to look back to The Lion King, and we're not going to look for the one that came out this year. We're going to look to the original.
The only good thing to come out of this is,
soundtrack.
Beyonce's, not even soundtrack, whatever you call it, like the companion thing she did. Like how Kendrick did his own sort of Black Panther album, but it wasn't really the soundtrack. That she kind of did something for this, and it has really good songs on that. So, I guess thanks.
Look at Disney throwing us Negroes a bone.
She's signed, or I think they're in talks to sign like a multi-movie deal with her, which is like good. I mean, I guess, good for her or whatever. Like, she needs the goddamn money, but I hope it has nothing to do with these remakes. I hope they create something original.
Original.
Nope, not no more.
And you're right, I know, but
eventually this is gonna die. We're gonna run out of movies to remake.
Well, that, and they need to stop making so much money. This Lion King is now the highest grossing.
You say they're gonna run
animated film.
Yeah.
Unless they go back and remake the remakes.
Yeah, they're just gonna remake the remakes. Or no, they're gonna sequels the remakes. Remake all the.
Oh, are they gonna remake?
Sequels.
Yeah, they're gonna remake Lion King 2. Oh, dude, you remember Aladdin 2?
No.
Which one was Aladdin 2? Because there were 2 Aladdin sequels. Which one was the second one?
I think the second one was something with Jafar. Hold on, Aladdin 2.
Are you sure? I feel like there was one before that.
Aladdin
or maybe Jafar Return was the second
Return of Jafar.
Okay, I didn't like that one. They did
There's a third, Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
I used to like that one. I don't know if I still would like that one, but it was about Aladdin's father.
Okay.
And he was he was a thief. And I actually really enjoyed that one when I was a kid.
You think you'd enjoy it now?
I don't want to watch it, so
I'm just gonna.
I don't want to not enjoy it.
Right. I'll leave that one in my nostalgia.
Okay, but Space Jam 2.
I've ruined plenty of things.
I'm not letting this movie go. I think I'm the only one who's on this hill of like looking forward to how dog ass this movie's gonna be.
Which one?
Space Jam 2.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that just because it's Space Jam.
Who's gonna now that R. Kelly's out of here? Who's gonna do that song? You know what I mean?
Chris Brown.
I don't think that they're gonna do that.
They could get who's like the big
like R&B guy right now?
Is there one?
The Weeknd? I don't know. Like, ugh.
Yeah, there you go. The Weeknd. Even though I'd love to hear him try to belt an R. Kelly type song, but
no.
Just make it rap, I guess.
I guess that's what The Weeknd needs to go back to the stupid hair. But
I wonder how many people who would be interested in the other things we talk about even know who The Weeknd is.
The Weeknd's a pretty big name, right?
Who?
Yeah, that's Josh's silence is why I asked that question.
Well, I mean, I've been dabbling.
Ooh, you've been dabbling in the pop culture.
Yeah, you've been listening to Eminem.
Alright, you know that's not true.
You have been listening to a lot of Eminem, but yeah, I know there's also like Tech Nine and dog ass like that. So
Dog ass.
Tech Nine's not
what's
dog
the shit?
ass.
What's the shit that you gave me?
I gave you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Disney sequels and all that kind of stuff, Toy Story 4 also came out.
Ooh, yeah. I don't that reaction I just gave to what Tashel said is not at all indicative of how I feel about this movie.
I haven't seen it, and I'm not gonna see it. So
it's not. It's a good movie, but it's.
I would actually go far. I would say it's a great movie. It's just unnecessary.
Right. It's kind of got Rogue One-esque type vibes.
I think it's
a better movie than Rogue One, but it's like, as a movie, it works. But I walked out of the theater like I did not want to see this. I did not want to see this, but more so I don't care about what I just saw.
I think, to me, I feel like, I mean, we've probably said this on this podcast before, but I feel like the Toy Story trilogy is maybe the best
It is.
trilogy in film
I would either say
history.
Toy
Like, I
Story or
can't really
Lord of
think.
the Rings are my top two trilogies.
Yeah, one of those two. Like I can't really think anything that's better than that. And I think
Oh,
to
the
add a
prequels.
fourth on it. What prequels?
Star Wars.
As the best. So Toy Story 4 is an unnecessary addition. It's not even like a bad addition.
No.
Like I'm not upset that it's a part of it. You know, like I really, really, really didn't want them to make a Toy Story 4. And then after seeing it, I wasn't pissed off like, ugh, this is how you add it to it. No, it's good. It does add some things that I don't like. Like they've totally redone Bo Peep's personality, and I kind of get it. Like she was just there
Yeah, I'm the
before, and
girl.
then she wasn't. Yeah, I'm the girl. I'm pretty, and now she's like, no, I wear pants and I'm badass. And it's like, but that's not really Bo. You know, and like every time I've seen the Toy Story 4 toys everywhere, like
remember
she's front
Jessie?
and center.
Who?
Yeah, for real. They already have a character
She
like
was
that.
not in that movie.
She wasn't.
Fuck
None of
all.
them were.
Like Buzz is of the
This
original
was-
toys. Buzz is the only one who kind of does something, and even then, Buzz is
Kinda.
mainly just there for jokes.
This is Woody's movie. Like, if no, this is
Yeah.
Woody's movie. Like the other characters are just side characters. I guarantee you, if you looked at this script, Rex probably has 3 lines. And Rex is one of my favorite characters.
The
I
aliens
don't
weren't in
understand.
this movie.
They weren't. No.
Like I'm just looking at the like a poster for this, and I'm like, dude, the aliens didn't say shit.
Did the Potato Heads? Because
I don't. I think Mr. Potato Head said something. I think one of them said
Well, his
something.
voice actor passed
Yeah.
away.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. But he wasn't.
One of them said something. I don't think Mrs.
Said
Potato Head
something.
said anything.
Mr. Potato Head was also one of my favorites. He also has one of my favorite jokes. I can't remember if it's from the first or the second one, but he's. I think he's mouthing off at Woody, and Woody turns his back or something like that, and then Mr. Potato Head takes his mouth off and makes it kiss his own butt. That's I don't know. That's just
That's clever.
adult humor that you obviously wouldn't get as a kid, but you know.
Yeah.
That's just that kind of stuff. Can you hear that?
The plane?
The
Yeah,
airplane.
you can hear the plane.
Yeah, so I moved, folks.
We moved.
Anybody listening? Yeah, Derek and I both moved, but I moved like out of the country I was living in. And so instead of birds, every now and then you'll just hear airplanes.
That's just the States. Unless you live in
So-
the, butt-fuck middle of nowhere like Josh.
Yeah.
I feel like I was making a point and I just squirreled myself off
Something
it, so.
about, you're talking about Mr. Potato Head.
Toy Story is great, and Toy Story 4 is unnecessary.
Yeah, that's
good
that's
movie,
the
but
issue. It's a good movie. Like, it works very well.
I'll put it this way, like Josh, if you ever if a girl ever wanted to go on a date and was like, "Oh, I haven't seen Toy Story," like that wouldn't be an awful thing to
Yeah.
go to. But like if, you're strapped for cash and you're like, I mean, I really don't want to see anything, this isn't something to force yourself to.
Right.
Right.
But I also don't ever see myself going back and watching Toy Story 4.
It's a good time killer, basically.
Yeah. Derek and I just wanted to see movies, so we went to go see that.
Like, Toy Story 1 through 3, like, especially Toy Story 2, that's my personal favorite. Like, there aren't a whole lot of days where I'm like, I would refuse to watch Toy Story today. You know what I mean? But
I think Toy Story 1 is literally a perfect
what?
movie, so a perfect movie.
oh yeah,
Literally a perfect movie.
but I don't know. Like, what does this have on Rotten Tomatoes? Even though we always hate on Rotten Tomatoes,
It's probably in the high 90s.
I mean,
It's a good movie.
it has a 97. So
Yeah, that I agree with
I
that.
don't
It is a
just
great
because
movie.
other
It's-
movies that have 100, I think there's a bigger gap. You know what I mean? I just have beef with Rotten Tomatoes ranking system because I don't think that it does a great job of comparing two movies to each other.
Well, it's not.
That's not the point of it.
I mean, that's just that's just the problem of the system. It's not comparing.
That's
two
not
movies.
the point,
It's,
but you know.
it's judging every movie on its own. I guess.
Which is fine, but you know, for example, just like Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 1, I think that there's a bigger gap than 3% between the two. Toy Story 4 is still a good movie, but yeah. But that's just, you know, the nature of the rating system, which is why I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, because a 97% compared to what, you know?
Right.
What was that? Okay. Tashel and I also saw, I can't believe we forgot about this movie, Tashel. We saw Stuber.
Oh my god.
That movie is it's just a real hidden gem. Just the movie, you know, it flew under the radar, but that movie it's phenomenal. So Josh,
I'm detecting some heavy sarcasm.
this is a movie starring Dave Bautista. You might
Of the Batista Barm?
yeah.
The Batista Bomb?
Yeah, he was a wrestler, and he's also the green guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. He's entered that
And
role
also-
of, you know.
He's The
Yeah.
Rock.
But he's not The Rock, because we like The Rock. But
He's and he's what's his Kumail Nanjiani.
yes.
He's the star of it.
Um,
He was in actually a really good movie in 2017 called The Big Sick. And this is not.
I mean,
really
he
good
wrote
movie,
The Big
so-
Sick, so like,
Right.
you know.
So he's talented.
Yeah. This movie, on the other hand, sucks.
No, this is Ig'rance.
There's not really going to be a deep dive.
It actually kind of felt like a Comedy Central movie.
It does feel like one of those movies that like Comedy Central would play between like 12 p.m. and like 5
marathons
p.m.
of South Park.
Yeah.
In between marathons of South Park, sorry.
But yeah, I don't know. There's not really a whole lot to talk about here. The movie just kind of sucks. The love interest is shitty. Everyone's shitty. The movie's just shitty. It's not that funny, really.
We started laughing near the end, and I think it was more of like, what the fuck are we looking at?
Yeah. You were pissed
really-
at the beginning.
I
You
was,
were
because it
really
was
mad.
because it was so clear early on that this was going to be that type of movie, and I was like, fuck my life. We gotta sit here for 2 hours, and we were gonna go see our aunt afterwards, and I was like, I could get up and walk out. I'm so bored.
We also, speaking of 2 hours of a movie, because I think we're done with Stuber. Josh, do you have any commentary you want to add?
No. I have no idea what that movie is still.
It's about an Uber driver and a cop. It's a shitty Uber driver buddy cop movie.
Oh, okay. I think I might have seen some ads for it.
Yeah.
Do you know, Josh? Do you know Prismo in Adventure Time?
I've never watched Adventure Time.
You haven't?
Nope.
Wait, who's Prismo?
The like 2-dimensional pink guy.
Let me see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Kamele does, or whatever his name is, the main character in that he's his voice actor.
I didn't know that.
So, random trivia with the Ig'rance podcast.
But a movie that like there might actually like a conversation can be had about this. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We saw that.
We did.
I didn't.
I can't imagine too many people.
Too many people what?
I was just saying, I don't think too many people like. I don't really think this movie would appeal to the average person.
It doesn't.
Like Tarantino has those type of movies.
Like
I don't
Django
think this
and
is one
Pulp
of them.
Fiction and well, kind of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, this. I couldn't see like if we took Josh to that, I could see him falling asleep.
You'd like the last 10 minutes of it.
It just becomes Kill Bill.
Yeah. But I guess, since we're, like Tashel said, it really isn't worth spending 3 hours talking about this movie. Um, as, like, when we saw it, one of the first things Tashel said was... So, I guess this quick synopsis of the movie. It's about a actor who's... Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor who's, like, out of his prime. And Brad Pitt is his bodyguard, or stunt double. And it's like the Tarantino thing where it's like 3 movies at the same time. So Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to get his groove back. Brad Pitt is around. And then what's the lady's name? He gets
mixed up with Charles Manson's cult.
Yeah. What was the lady? Blonde lady?
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, and she's also doing stuff.
She's just walking around looking pretty.
Pretty much. Leonardo.
I have big hair.
Leonardo DiCaprio's character is like when he gets his redemption. Like there's a scene where like he's a drunk. Like his character is a drunk, and then he forces himself to sober up, and he nails a scene. Like Leonardo DiCaprio's character is acting, and as that actor, he nails the scene. And that scene's amazing.
And it happens like an hour into the movie.
But that scene's amazing. Like that nigga can, any doubts that people may have about Leonardo DiCaprio's acting ability, that nigga acted his ass off in that.
And then you look at your
watch, and there's 2 hours of movie left.
And you're like, oh god. There's still more of this shit.
And then the middle is really boring, while Brad Pitt is he's on the Manson ranch and just
random.
Yeah. And then Margot Robbie's character goes to a movie theater and watches herself
and continues to look pretty.
And
I've got knee-high boots. Yeah. They're white.
And then near the end of the movie, the Manson people... This is not at all true to history, by the way. I guess spoiler alert. Because in this movie, the Manson, culties, they were going to go kill somebody, and then Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt just killed them.
Not only did they kill him, Leonardo DiCaprio lights somebody up with a flamethrower.
Yeah. It's funny. As it was happening, I was
It's funny in a what the fuck way.
Because it's such a complete tonal shift.
It's like it just became a sketch out of Robot Chicken at the end.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because it's kind of fucked. It's a Tarantino movie, so you're like, this has been surprisingly non-violent. And then the last 10 minutes, it's like he was edging himself, and then
he spurgs out at the end.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would not recommend this movie to 90% of people, because you're gonna feel exactly how we felt, and we're into movies where for 2 hours of the movie you're like, this is so boring. I do not care.
That's what I'm saying. I think snobs will like this because it is, it is very much a Yeah, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's an experience. It's watching an auteur do his
Even though thing. Quentin Tarantino's been making the same movie for 9 movies, but...
He might be the last auteur, I guess. Maybe him and Wes Anderson.
Yeah. But I give Wes Anderson way more credit, because I feel like Wes Anderson movies feel way more different than Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
Which I guess is that a bad thing? I don't know, because I feel like Quentin Tarantino is more of an experience of a director than Wes Anderson.
I'd rather watch Wes Anderson.
Oh, I completely agree.
Django was on a couple of weeks before I left, and I was like, holy shit, I can't stand this movie anymore.
Yeah. But, if you like movies, you'll like this. If you don't, then...
Honestly, even if you do like movies, you might not like it.
It's a good movie. It's just... I don't know. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. Isn't this one of his last movies, right?
Yeah, I think his next one is going to be his last one. I think he said he's only going to do 10 movies in his career or something like that.
So,
Very pretentious thing to say, but
Okay. Moving on.
you can wake up now, Josh.
Oh, okay. What are we talking about?
Butts.
Whose butt?
Whose butt do you want to talk about?
Tom Holland's.
No, we already did that. Okay. So I guess one thing that I'll talk about, we can do a quick little transition. Well, Tashel, did you have somewhere you wanted to go?
No, no.
Okay.
I know where you're gonna
Where
go.
am I gonna go?
To video games.
Yeah. Which one do we want to do first? Do we want to rant or do we want to be positive first?
Let's start off with positive.
Okay, so I got Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this because everyone who's played this game agrees with me. Like going into the game, a lot of people on the internet were like, "This game looks poopy. The animations are boring. The character designs are bland." And now the game's out, and everyone's like, "This game is amazing. This might be the best Fire Emblem game in the series." So yeah, I guess, and I'm partially saying this to Josh because I assume most people out there listening already know this. Like how at least the first half of it works. I'm not gonna talk about the second half because that's spoilers. It's like Harry Potter, where you are a teacher. Like you take the role of a teacher and you pick one of the three houses and you, yeah, I guess you're in charge of like training them, and it does a pretty good job of like, for, what's the genre of game Fire Emblem is? And yeah, for an RTS, like it, like the missions themselves still feel very Fire Emblem-y, but they also added much more of a strategic element outside of missions in terms of like teaching your students, and there's way more customizability in terms of what classes and weapons they use and stuff like that. And yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of work. I'm playing the game right now. I'm playing it on hard. The game's very difficult. It will kick your ass. But yeah, the dialogue is pretty good. A lot of people who are snobby about voice acting are fans of the English voices. So Fire Emblem Three Houses gets a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Josh, you should get it if you get the chance.
There's a couple games that I probably will get before it, but
Animal Crossing?
actually, yes.
Animal Crossing's never coming out
Yeah.
though, so
I mean, fair enough. Well, you say that, but I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out.
After 15 years.
Yeah, but if that game comes out, then anything except Half-Life 3 can come out.
And even if Animal Crossing were to be delayed more, it still wouldn't be as much of a disappointment as Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's true. I think everyone knows exactly the kind of game they're going to get from Animal Crossing. We're getting Animal Crossing. It's the same game. But
Yeah.
Animal Crossing
It's like
does take like 5-10 years between games, so
It's also like Pokemon, and the fact that everything's the same, but people still like playing it.
it's not like Pokemon in the
Speaking-
fact that it's probably going to be a good game.
Speaking of,
You're welcome.
Yikes, dude. I hate this game.
Sword and Shield.
Dude, I think I'm going to hate Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, full disclosure, in case this is someone's first episode, I love Pokemon. Like, it's my...
Absolutely, like every game he buys.
Yeah, like, I have been a sheep since I was 4 years old. And I feel no kind of way about it. Like, I love this franchise. Like, there is not a game... There's not a series of games I put more hours into than Pokemon, and it's not even close. Like thousands, if not potentially even tens of thousands of hours over my 22 years of life I've spent on this franchise, right? And I think like a lot of people, and I know that I've like mentioned this on this podcast where it's like Pokemon Sword and Shield, this is going to, it's Gen 8? Yeah.
Yep,
Gen
Gen
8,
8.
this is the first gen that we are going to have a main series Pokemon game on a console. I expect that they're going to live up to what that, like everything that entails. And the game's not out yet, so it's not impossible that I'm going to be wrong, but this game looks exactly the same as everything that we've ever had before, and kind of worse and disappointing. So,
I think specifically, I think people, because you're definitely not alone with.
this is the first
with
time,
this.
yeah, that I've seen this many people hate
I
this
think the
game this
reason
much.
why people are so mad is because it is on
Console.
a console, and like Nintendo never or Game Freak never promised anything
Right.
to be, I guess,
Right.
defend.
We just
them
assume.
For, I don't know why I'm defending them because they're a billion-dollar company, but you know, it is very disappointing for probably Nintendo's second biggest moneymaker after Mario, if not their biggest moneymaker, for their foray on the Switch to be lackluster is very disappointing.
Yeah. Like,
Because the thing has the potential to sell more than Odyssey. It probably will sell more than Odyssey. And the fact that,
it's
like,
two, so if you combine them.
it's so
yeah.
shitty.
But
It looks like so much less effort has been put into this than into Odyssey, which is strange because they've had more time to develop this than Nintendo RD1 did to do, or whichever division it was that did Odyssey. They've had more time. It's just been more years, obviously,
Right.
since Sun and Moon and this. But they say that they have put their priority into that town game that they're working on. So, unfortunately, their first console Pokemon game is being sent to development team 2 or B,
Right.
whatever, instead of development team 1 or A.
yeah, and like Tashel, you touched on this for a second. Like the thing that is, I guess, as disappointing as it is to me, like if you look at Nintendo's other huge franchises that are already on the Switch, like their game on the Switch is in contention for being the best of its ilk. You know what I mean? Like Odyssey is one of the best Mario games of all time. Breath of the Wild is one of the best Zelda games of all time. And recently with Three Houses, that's one of the best Fire Emblem games of all time. And this Pokemon game that we're getting just looks like,
Meh.
I mean, it's the same thing people have mentioned. We're using the same models since 2013. Not every Pokemon's going to be
Yikes.
in it. The gimmick and what if Raichu mate but bigger, as the gimmick that we're running with. And they brought back what's the Galar region?
Yeah, Galar, I think.
Is that the name of this region?
like-
yeah.
It's like supposed to be Britain.
And they are introducing, like they're going with regional forms again. So there's like Galar Linoon who gets an evolution, and there's like Galar,
Which is
It's
neat.
cool.
I think
I think
that's
that's
a
cool.
neat feature.
like giving it an evolution in a new region.
That's a cool feature.
There's Weezing who has great memes.
He looks like he has a top hat, which is also a factory mate.
but also a bong.
Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures of Bong wheezing.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous that, like, the only thing that's made me happy out of the news from this new generation is how ridiculous some of the concepts are.
I mean,
Like, this is one of Nintendo's top franchises. I shouldn't just... The only thing that brings me joy shouldn't be the side extra fun stuff.
right. But the game just looks the
The
exact
game
same.
itself
Like,
should look amazing.
You know what I mean? Like none of the stuff that we wanted, it looks like is even going to be here. It's just so. This looks mediocre. Not even bad. I don't think that this is going to be a bad Pokemon game. It's just going to be another one.
It actually kind of looks like a game developed for, like, the GameCube or something. Like, it looks like Coliseum or XD.
Yeah, well, see, I like Coliseum, so you just incentivize me to pay.
Okay, but
What-
it's going to
or
play
buy it.
like every other Pokemon game you've ever played, and it's not even. Like, well, I don't think
Oh.
Coliseum was successful in its attempt at deviating from the formula. This is going to be. It's not even going to have an inkling of the deviance that Coliseum had.
If we were talking
Well-
about Splatoon, that would have been a great segue right there.
Oh, I get it.
But we're not.
What were you gonna say?
Sorry,
Josh?
I derailed us.
I think, Josh, you bringing up Coliseum kind of made me feel like if they even put half of the thought into changing it up that they did with Coliseum, I think this game would automatically at least just look more interesting.
Right.
Coliseum, while it is not like it's it's questionable how successful it is at what it sets out to do.
It does set out to
But
do something different.
you can't deny that it is definitely not like the other Pokemon games. It has tons of unique features that only ever showed back up in XD, and then they just totally dropped because they were like, that's too much thought and effort.
Yeah, and this is honestly at this point the onus is on fans to just not buy the game.
That's not
Yeah,
gonna
that's like I don't know. It's just a shitty situation where it's like they're not gonna change anything because they don't need to because each Pokemon game sells better than the last one. So like,
We were talking about this the last time we were all talking. I think this will be a good indication to see like what the majority of Pokemon fans really are. Like if the majority of Pokemon fans are adults, then I think we'll see a hit in the sales. If it really is kids, then this is going to do just as well, if not better, because the Switch is more popular than, well, maybe not the 3DS,
Right.
but the Switch is very popular. We'll see. And a main series Pokemon game on the Switch, I can't imagine is not going to do
no,
well.
it's gonna do well. I don't know. It's just so.
It's like it's the Disney of things right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's even worse.
Because I feel
think.
like even Disney makes the same thing every year, but I feel like effort, like all their movies are the same, but I feel like there's effort put into their movies. The
It's effort in weird
Yeah.
places. There's no effort in this.
like it's just literally just, hey, you know that gimmick from the last gen where it's regional based Pokemon? Okay, we'll do that again. So we had megas in Gen 6 and moves in this one. What if just bigger? Okay, so that's our gimmick. We're
So,
using the same sprites that we've been using for the past 2 generations. All right, that sounds right.
So shout outs to Arlo on YouTube, the little blue puppet Muppet thing. He has this really I'm gonna tie it in, I swear. He has this really interesting video about how he thinks Nintendo should hashtag remaster Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And something that he said in his video about the Paper Mario series, I think you could apply here in the way that like a lot of these game developers think when they create these sequels. He said something about the Paper Mario games, and this is obviously just his speculation, but I think it could apply to Pokemon as well. They didn't want to keep making games like Thousand Year Door because like that level of quality that you have to put into that is hard to constantly replicate. So if we keep giving you something that's not exactly what you want, you'll always come back for more to see the improvements. And we don't have to put as much work in. Like we don't have to keep doing, that same level of work and then some every single time. And I think maybe that same theory could be applied to Pokemon. Like maybe a reason why we don't get everything we want is so they can put the least amount of work in and maximize how much they get them done, because at this point Pokemon games are made a couple of years in between each other, and they're also doing the spin-offs and stuff like that. Like this franchise is not dealt with as respectfully, to put it I guess nicely, as Zelda is, for example. Like if a Zelda game's not ready, they'll just delay it. Metroid, they didn't like how it was coming, they just delayed it. They're not going to delay Pokemon. There has to be a Pokemon game every holiday season. And in order to keep up with that, like, oh my god, we can't put... How many Pokemon is it now? Like almost 1,000?
I think this gen's gonna put them around 1,000.
So maybe they're like, we can't keep doing that every single generation, so we have to just.
Which, I mean, I agree that, the idea of adding 200 new Pokemon every single game, like, that just is going to have to stop at some point. But I don't think that the answer is to not include, like, introduce new ones and just not include old ones. I think the answer is, like, what if you just did something different?
But they have to have Pikachu, and it makes the mascot.
Put all 1,000 in it, but just stop adding new ones. Like, we got enough. Or stop feeling like you need to add 150 new ones every single time. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, their biggest issue, I guess, is that they've just set up a stupid formula
and it works.
that they feel like they have to. Like, if they hadn't done the same thing every single time, I think they'd be more flexible with, not feeling the pressure of having to do specific things. Like, as you see, people are angry that all Pokemon aren't included. But if when Generation 3 came, they just didn't have the old Pokemon, they just only had the new ones, I don't think people would have been that angry.
Well, they kind of did in Gen 3, because...
No, but the other Pokemon are
not
in
all
it.
of them. A lot weren't. Like, you couldn't get a Caterpie in Gen 3.
But you could trade it. I don't know.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Whatever. The point is,
I guess eventually...
They created a dumb formula, and now they're stuck
Yeah.
to it. Because it's done so well, and it's made so much money. Like, Pokemon is it's the highest selling media franchise of all time at this point. It surpassed Star Wars and Marvel and Batman and Spider-Man and Mario and Mickey Mouse. Like, it's at the top.
Yeah, I get it. It's just such a... I don't know. I'm probably not going to buy this game. I'm definitely not buying this game new. I will say that. I am not going to contribute to the sales of Pokemon.
What about you, Josh? You gonna get it?
No.
No.
Like, that says something when I would rather give GameStop my money than Pokemon.
Yeah. Are resales not counted in the sales?
I believe they are. Because it's just tough to track that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it'll still do $3 million in its first week. So.
Hopefully not, but you're probably right. But I'm going to choose to not be a hypocrite. I can't complain about something and then perpetuate it.
Yeah, let's just hope that there's a noticeable drop.
I don't think there will be, but because it's on a new console.
If there is,
then
I think
we'll see something different.
Yeah, that would kick them in their ass and be like, oh, okay, well, I can't remember who it was on YouTube. I wish I could. I'd give you credit. May have been Arlo. I don't think so. Somebody, this is a little far-fetched, but I think it's worth bringing up. They think, like, Game Freak sees, Pokemon Go and this new Pokemon Masters thing and all that, and Game Freak is starting to realize that they're not as important to Nintendo as they used to be, and so, like, the thought is that the reason why they're focusing more on home is so that they're not just attached to Pokemon. So, like, this would never happen, but, like, if Nintendo were to let them go, they'd have something other than Pokemon to show for themselves.
Yeah, I don't think Town's going to be it. Because it's another JRPG. Like, it looks like another kind of collecting-based JRPG, which is like, but Pokemon.
It's Pokemon, man.
So, like, if it was a different genre, you know what I mean? Then all right, they made a hack and slash or something like that, way out of left field.
Astro Chain and Daemon X Machina look so much better than this. Fire Emblem looks better than this. Like, these low level tier, and I hate to say that about Fire Emblem because I know it is starting to rank higher, but Pokemon is supposed to be up there with the top. It is top three. It's in terms of like Nintendo's
attention.
recognizable characters. It's Mario and Zelda and Pokemon, and then everybody else, right? And everybody else is, at least in terms of just like the way it's coming off to us, it just looks like everybody else has caught up.
Because they haven't changed. They've just been sitting in the same spot literally since the 90s.
Civil rights, the 90s.
So
It's a Bridesmaids reference.
maybe one day we'll get a Pokemon game that looks like it's worth being a part of this billion-dollar entity, but I don't think it's going to be this year.
It'll be Pokemon Masters, because that actually looks interesting. Which is a game for like the phone or something.
Now I'm sad, dude.
Let's move on then.
Well, what's next?
Oh, so Smash Brothers in the past had a habit of like making these really, really, really broken characters. Like in Melee, Fox, Falco, and basically the top tier are just way better than everybody else. And in Brawl, of course, there was Meta Knight, who was banned from tournaments. And I guess in 4, I can't really think anybody who was... Yeah, when she came out, she was
Even
ridiculous.
at the end, Bayonetta was fucking stupid.
And Cloud. Cloud was pretty ridiculous too.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, so was Zero.
Well, so was everyone.
But then,
at the beginning. Like Diddy Kong would like. Diddy Kong was stupid when that game came out.
And then Smash 5 came out, and it seemed like, oh, they've kind of balanced it out a little bit. Look at that! And then their new DLC character, the hero from Dragon Quest, was like, no, hold my beer.
No, I have a weapon, an attack that is faster and stronger than a fucking Falcon Punch.
I've seen Hero kill someone from 0 in 1 hit.
Yeah, the Fire Axe move that he has is an instant kill.
Yeah.
I want to see a video of the hero kill Meta Knight and be like, come back when you get banned from tournaments.
Yeah. I don't think that Hero's been in like a big tournament yet.
He just came out.
I think
so
that there's
doubt
one
it.
going on right now, but I think they're playing on the patch before Hero came out. But yeah, we shall.
A Joker player won
Yeah.
Evo. Yeah.
Joker is pretty
Which-
busted too.
He is busted, definitely. But again, DLC characters.
Which
They're kind of always like that.
well, not in. You ever play Roy? I mean, not Roy. I guess Roy, but Lucas in Smash 4.
Roy was busted.
Lucas sucks.
No, I never played Lucas. Mewtwo is way better than
Oh
he
yeah,
used to
Mewtwo is
be.
actually good. But Lucas was some dog ass. Piranha Plant sucks.
Piranha
Well,
Plant,
he was good when he first came out.
Piranha
They
Plant's
kept
just a
nerfing
fucking
him
meme.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when Piranha Plant first came out, he topped all the tier lists. Then they nerfed him and nerfed him and nerfed him. And now he's a joke, as he should have been from the beginning.
That's a silly character. Who I'm here for. I'm fine
He's
with.
just
Me too.
He's just a not Waluigi.
Hey, it's just a middle finger to everyone who wanted Waluigi.
Yeah.
Wah.
But I mean, I don't know. We can touch on that. I don't have the character, and I'm indifferent towards it because I'm indifferent towards Dragon Quest. So like, I don't know. That's as close as we're ever
the
gonna
thing-
get to Goku being in Smash Brothers. So have fun with that.
The thing about Hero is that, like, all of his moves are pretty damn good. Well, like, all of his smash moves and shit are really slow. And have a lot of in lag, even his tilts and stuff like that. But his down B, which is what
The spells,
brings up
yeah.
the mana. Yeah, the spells.
They're just it's RNG, like, and that's
Yeah. It's you get a random list of spells from a set list that you can get, and some of them are really fucking busted, and some of them just make you jump really high.
yeah.
So it's sort of like Shulk.
It's like Shulk, but there are 20 different possibilities, and you randomly get one of those. Like, you get 5 of those abilities randomly. Whereas, like, however, what, Shulk has 4 Monados? 4 or 5? whatever, however many there are, you know everything that he has available to him, so it's telegraphed. It's not random.
Slash.
But in this, it's like, sometimes you'll just get nothing, and then the other time you'll, get thwomped.
Slash.
And I think that all of Hero's moves just have a random chance to critical hit. Something like that.
Game & Watch has a critical with his hammer.
Yeah, it's like Game & Watch, but like way more variants and they're better.
More busted.
Yeah.
Well, the worst thing is like, yeah, when you get the spell list, it like appears by your health bar. So a hero player can probably go through that real quick.
But you have to
know, and know what they want. And some abilities like Boom is just a really fast projectile that fucking decimates you. Yeah, and like if you're playing against a hero, you can't be looking at their spell list to see what they're about to use.
I think it's kind of weird that such a simple game like Smash Brothers has some of these like super technical characters. Like Bayonetta is, if you don't play for that, like, oh my god. That Joker just seems like so much.
Joker's thing is
he just has
I'm
a
just
stand,
gonna get,
like a JoJo stand. That's the problem with Joker.
I'm just gonna get hit and do a little bit of damage until my stand pops out, and then I'm gonna move like Sheik and hit like Ganondorf.
Yeah. But I don't know. I get the drama. A lot of people. I think that people wanted the character banned already. I'm like, give it a sec.
From tournaments.
But I get it, and I get
Let
it
him
from
be in a
Nintendo's
tournament
perspective
first.
in terms of they want to do the character justice. But it's hard to.
But they shouldn't have made him ridiculous. Like, they could have done that without. From what it sounds like,
It's just it's really just randomness.
This.
Like, it's trying to balance between a game that you want to be competitive and a game you want to be a party game. And this is like a perfect example of that, where it's like at least items you can turn off. The only way to turn off this character is to just, I guess it's similar to that, where you just ban them, but. Yeah, I don't know. Like at Nintendo,
I don't mind it being random because there's a lot of stuff like that with a lot of characters. But if he has the ability to kill you at 0, like that's
with a single.
It's not consistent, but it's
ridiculous.
Probably consistent enough to take a level of competitiveness outside of the thing.
Because Peach can just randomly pull out a bomb, so
no, I think that
I'm okay with there being a level of randomness.
A level of randomness.
Right, but like with Peach, if you see the Stitch or the bomb, that's like super telegraphed, and that's about to fucking come.
Right. Right, that's my
point.
And
it's much the odds of pulling a Stitch are probably like 1 in 100 or something like that, if that.
Right.
Like it's extremely low.
Where it's more like 1 in 20 with this
which
guy.
Is, like you can play a Peach player can probably go most of a tournament and not pull a Stitch or a bomb.
I can probably count on my hand the amount of times I've pulled a bomb with Peach.
So,
mind you, I don't really play Peach a lot, but
we shall see. They're probably going to get the character out of here, which I don't know. I guess it sucks in a way,
or Nintendo will just nerf him.
Yeah, I guess. But then that's what I was talking about, where like it loses the flavor of the character, like in trying to balance between competitive and a party game. Like they can nerf him into the dust, but then it's not going to feel like it's doing the franchise it's franchise justice.
Bowser is Nintendo's most iconic villain, and he was actually viable at the beginning of Smash 4, and near the end of the cycle, he was at the bottom of the tier list That's again. Fair. So. I don't put anything past these guys.
That's true. But yeah, that's that. Zero Suit still sucks. So there's my take on.
Yeah, you still don't know who you play in that game.
It's probably Zero Suit, but.
Seamus.
5 signs. Okay, I'm just looking at it's just titties in my anime titties in my YouTube recommended section.
Is that what you want?
Well, it comes from a YouTube channel called Anime Music Video. No, this is just recommendations for anime music videos. What the fuck is this YouTube channel? Seth the Programmer? No, these are just a myriad of... I'm closing out of this because I'm getting confused and I don't like it.
Shout outs to Seth the Programmer.
Maybe not. I don't know what... He might be on some fuck shit.
Well, speaking of violent games...
Ooh.
Were we
Let's
speaking
end
of violent
on a-
games?
Well, Smash Brothers is kind of violent.
Yeah, I guess a
beating
couple
people
characters
up.
have guns.
Yeah.
Oh, people literally, like, fling you into the ether.
Snake gives you a PG-13 neck snap. How about that?
Have you seen Snake's ass? Like,
No.
It got nerfed.
Have you seen it?
Unfortunately.
But yeah. So some naughty things have happened in the real world.
Yeah. Condolences
To
to
put
any
it-
affected by the recent mass shootings, but
Rest
Yeah.
in peace, the dead.
It's tough for a weird podcast like us to talk about something so serious.
but
But,
also fuck all the people who are pinning this on video games.
Yeah, that's how it's
Yeah.
related to us.
Well, I guess for me, when I say naughty things happening, I more am talking about like the ridiculous people that run our country, like the stupid politicians and the stupid media.
And Walmart.
The way they've covered all this stuff has just been so irresponsible.
I love that, like, this has been a thing since games have came out.
Since Columbine,
And-
Columbine, like,
Yeah, since
those
Columbine.
two kids, they played a lot of Doom, and people blamed Doom for why they did what
Doom
they
and
did.
Grand Theft Auto and Mortal Kombat. That's the reason the ESRB was created.
And Mortal Kombat.
But
Oh, you said
yeah,
Mortal Kombat,
but-
sorry.
yeah, I said Mortal Kombat. But like, come on now. This has been a thing since basically the inception of violent games, and not a single study anywhere ever
None. Yep.
has
None.
shown a correlations between violent video games and an increase, a sustained increase in violent tendencies.
Well, I guess in the defense of the people trying to blame video games, before there were video games, I mean, it's not like there were two like world wars or anything,
Right.
right? Oh wait,
It's not like we had mass genocide
Yeah.
every.
oh, it's slavery.
Well, what, you don't... Yeah, Mario caused slavery.
What the hell is wrong with these freaking?
You know, when I play Final Fantasy, I
Politicians.
really think about enacting the final solution.
right? It's so obvious that like
It's...
we all know it needs to be damn done. I don't even think I need to say it. We all know.
Walmart,
Yeah,
Walmart
Walmart-
does
everybody
not
knows.
advertise violent video games, but they still sell guns.
Right.
They also
Come
still
on.
sell the violent video games. They just don't advertise them.
Right. So we'll still make money off it, but you know, to clear our conscience, we just won't put it front and
No.
center.
To make all you fucking Karens in the world think that Walmart's a good company, we won't advertise these things anymore. We'll virtue signal to you. So come buy games from us instead of GameStop.
Well, GameStop's, like, failing, so...
Right. But also have a free gun with every game purchase.
Yeah. So, you know, we're in a freaking crisis right now. Not right now. We've been in a crisis for a very long time.
Also, by the way, back to the studies thing.
Mm-hmm.
The studies haven't shown an increase or correlation between the two. They have in fact found an inverse correlation, the exact opposite. That since violent video games have been a thing, violent crimes have dropped despite the population count increasing. Because violent games are cathartic.
Yeah.
Right. It's more like I'm less likely to do this awful thing if I can pretend to do it
I mean,
instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I have a catharsis release.
But, you know...
And it's something to occupy your time, even if it's not violent
And,
video
like,
games that you
especially
play.
nowadays, like, it's a social thing, so that's good for a lot of people.
Right. it's something to do with your life. It's something to add some sort of meaning if you otherwise feel life is meaningless.
Yeah.
Which ultimately it is.
I mean, you know.
But
I don't know. 16-year-old just won like $3 million at a Fortnite tournament. So like, you know.
there you go.
No, I mean, the 23-year-old died of deep vein thrombosis because he sat and played League of Legends for 72 hours.
Okay, well, yeah, but like, drinking is
Yeah.
fine. But if I, you know, drink half a bottle of vodka and then start going 80 the wrong way on the highway, you know what I mean? Like, it's like moderation's a thing.
Yeah.
Right. Phones are addicting, but if you get into a car crash because you were looking at your
It's not the phone's fault.
you'd be an idiot to sue Apple.
People will try it, though.
Oh, well, not anymore, because I promise you Apple has said you can't sue us for this by now.
There's a Black Mirror episode about that, by the way.
Well, if, mate.
It's a bad episode
Oh.
too, because it's trying to make that point.
Mm.
But these phone companies, they're just responsible for all our car
I mean,
accidents,
no,
mate.
you can't. You know. If I buy a chainsaw.
Is this
and I
the first
start
time I've talked
juggling
about
it,
Black
I
Mirror
think
on this
maybe.
show?
I think you've
Probably.
mentioned it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually really like Black Mirror. I hate for my first time to talk about it being insulting.
Just a
but
hater. Hating ass niggas always trying to block my shine.
I actually got Derek to start watching it with me. So
Yeah.
for anybody who's watched it, the next one we're about to watch is White Bear. Can't wait.
I think
Don't
you
know what
can
that
wait.
means.
Derek doesn't either. But anybody that's seen the show, they'll know exactly what I mean. And they're all probably doing like that evil, maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Is that from the Muppets movie?
I don't know. I have no idea where that's from.
What else has happened, guys?
I have to say, I'm pretty impressed
How
with
going
us.
this long with?
We're at an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and we didn't have like a list.
Yeah, and very little dead air, too.
Yeah, look at us. And now that you've mentioned it, now I'm so self-conscious we're gonna start getting dead air.
Let's just
So-
stop talking for the next 10 minutes.
No, Josh.
Are you sure about that?
So
Damn it, Derek.
I thought we were doing a bit.
BTS broke up, or they're taking a break.
Oh.
Who the hell is BTS?
One of the K-pop groups.
Oh,
So, wanna know an interesting
okay, I
thing?
know them. Never mind.
What's up?
When I did those keyboard things, like, I was clicking on my keyboard, I accidentally stopped recording for like half a second. But no,
So we're desynced.
my timeline didn't stop scrolling, so we're still synced. Yeah, that was just really weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I'm going through my sources to
All
find us
right.
something to talk about, so we can get some
Was it?
deep dives on.
Was that a fucking?
Yeah, I feel like we can't end it here. This would be like the
Also, we'd
shortest
be ending on
episode
school
we've ever done.
shootings or mass shootings.
I know.
It happens.
I had to I guess lift the curtain to the audience. We sometimes would have these conversations about like, what if we didn't have anything to talk about, and we had all these ideas of things to do. And now we have a moment where we don't have anything to talk about, and we have all these ideas, and we're not using them. So let's use them.
Let's go. What you got?
Okay, so here are some that I have in a text document from like a year
All right,
ago.
let's go, baby.
So the first one is ranking all the Mario
already
games,
recorded
which
that.
I think we all sat down and did together once.
Yeah.
Did we?
I think we...
I don't remember that. I thought we just talked
Yeah, we have a
about it.
list
I don't
somewhere.
think we were.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I don't think we recorded it. I don't think we recorded it. I think we were just talking about it. I think we debated like where we would put
Yeah, like
what.
off
I don't
camera
think
or
we
something.
recorded that. Yeah. The best animated series of all
That's
time, I
gonna
guess,
take a minute.
cartoons.
That's gonna take a minute. Not doing that today.
Steven Spielberg's contributions to animated TV, which sounds like a lecture. Executive Meddling and the Legend of Korra. Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Disney Marvel's
We
impact
talk about that
on
like every
franchises.
fucking
I
day.
feel like we talk about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
every episode. Adventure Time, Adult Swim, and this last one, Futurama, is
Well,
underrated.
Let me,
talk about?
hold on. Have we hit our holy trinity?
Yes.
Yes, we talked about DC. We shit on DC. We complained about well, we didn't really actually complain about Marvel this time, but we did talk about them,
So
and
our
we
holy
talked about
trinity
Star
has
Wars.
been met.
That's how you know if we ever like all randomly like spontaneously combust and are replaced with humanoid robot replacements, you'll know if it's us or not if
So you
they do
mean
not
if
hit
the robots
the
fuck our
quotas.
wives
So,
and then kill us and replace us?
there you go. Look at Josh bringing it back.
So, while browsing my very professional sources, I found some complete ignorance. This is someone talking about the descriptions on black sex toys.
All right, read us some
And
shit.
There's this is called the Pipe Dream Extreme Flip a Sister Over. Reads Jizzle and my nizzle, faux shizzle.
Okay, I wasn't here for this until that. That was good.
Yeah, that's fuck her first in her tight moped pot, then flip a sister over and bust a nut in that fat pH ghetto booty.
Jesus Christ, where are your sources?
This is Twitter.
Yeah, you show me
The
some
most
shit on your
professional
Twitter
of
feed.
course. My Twitter feed's amazing. But what were you? Okay, so we should actually talk about one of these because yeah.
All right, pick one of the
Hold on.
Ig'rance topics.
I'll put them in the Discord so that you two can see it, and the audience listening to this is like, what the hell?
I want to talk about Futurama being underrated.
Oh shit, we're bringing back underrated,
Okay.
overrated.
Overrated is the
Look at that.
my take is going to be the Pipe Dream Extreme Flip a Sister Over.
You think that's
Sex toy.
overrated? That sounds underrated
Yeah.
to me.
No.
I actually have a bit of a hot take for overrated in relation to Futurama. People always say that Rick and Morty is the best like animated sci-fi show.
Futurama's better.
I don't think that's
No,
a
it
hot
ain't.
take.
Futurama's better.
Futurama's right there.
I think it is. I
Niggas
think Rick and
dick
Morty
ride
is
Rick
by
and Morty.
far more
Yeah, but
popular than
Just as many people that dick
Futurama
ride
right now.
or dick ride Rick and Morty also dick ride not liking Rick and Morty.
That's more recent.
Is it?
Though. Like now, it's counterculture to not like Rick and Morty.
I thought like that's been a thing since the fucking Szechuan sauce incidents.
Yeah, like season 3 when niggas started dick riding Rick and Morty in season 3. The counterculture of anti-dick riding came out a little bit
Anti-dick
after that.
riding.
Meanwhile, the whole time Futurama's just been sitting there like, yeah, let the peasants fight it out.
Futurama's fucking great.
Yeah, it's I think the most consistent adult animated series of all time. like it's consistently good. It doesn't have the peaks or the lows of a lot of other shows, but it's just all reliable. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's never gonna be bad.
Yeah, I recently rewatched the entirety of it. While working, I'll just fucking put Futurama on.
Sometimes when I get drunk, which is often, I'll just like put on Futurama compilations on YouTube, just like lots of funny little moments. Derek and I are in the process of working on a show, and I found that Futurama has been great for like punchy one-liners and stuff.
I know a guy that is in one of my friend circles that has watched Futurama in its entirety more than 30 times.
He sounds like a psychopath. You should keep your distance.
Well,
Right?
he puts that shit on in the background. He doesn't like actually watch it. He puts it on the background when he's doing like Minecraft or some shit.
You know, it's funny when I was a kid, when Futurama and Family Guy were both being played on Adult Swim, I always used to like want Futurama to go off so I could watch Family Guy. And now that I'm older, it's the total opposite. Like, if it was ever a case where it was Futurama then Family Guy, as soon as Futurama went off, I would change the channel. I wouldn't watch Family Guy. Even the new episodes. I mean, even the older
No, I
episodes.
completely. I just think Futurama is just consistently very funny. I think that Fry doesn't get the credit that he deserves for being like emotional. Like there were a lot of like one episode, especially like before the show got canceled, and brought back a Comedy Central, like the Holophoner episode. Fry like sells his body to the devil.
Finale, wasn't
Might
it?
have been. I don't know. But
Well, it was. I guess it was the series finale until it got brought back.
Fry sells his body to the devil because he wants to impress the girl.
He wants to
likes.
impress Leela.
Like he's an idiot, but like I don't know. And then like similar to that, like one of the later episodes after it came back, the episode where he gets to talk to like a projection of his mom or something like that.
There are a lot of
yeah.
really tear-jerky episodes that revolve around Fry. Oh god, the dog.
The one with the dog. That's probably the
Iconic,
most
yeah.
famous. Yeah. I like that episode where they meet the cast of Star Trek.
Okay, yeah.
You it's so
There's-
ridiculous.
One episode with Fry, it was like a small quip, but I wish they'd done more with it, where Fry and Leela were doing something, and then Fry said something that was like super observant, that suggests that Fry isn't just dumb, he just thinks differently. And I wish they'd done more with that.
I don't remember that episode.
Let me see.
Yeah.
But like it had a, like
I
it
have
did
to
a
think.
show did a pretty decent job of like its supporting cast, like giving them the attention that they deserve, but not like Bender almost did it. You know what I mean? Bender almost like homered the show where he just hijacked it, but then the show.
I'd say by the time he started doing it, the show was about to get
I was about to say,
canceled
yeah. Then the show got canceled before he could do that. So, but
Which usually I hate when they cancel good shows, but I felt like Futurama had a decent run. Like 6 seasons, that's...
oh yeah,
Actually, it was like
I think
7, wasn't it?
It might have been 8. It was 7. It
Or
was
maybe
7.
even 8. That's a long time.
No, and like it ended like well. Yeah.
Right. Like Futurama does not have the thing where a lot of other shows like it have, where they just stay on forever and then they're bad more than they are good. Like Family Guy and The Simpsons have way more terrible episodes than they do good episodes at this
Right.
point. Even a show like American Dad, like the longer and longer it stays on, the more does it.
Is American Dad still on?
I think so. We can
Yeah,
look
I'm
it
doing
up.
that right now because I haven't seen an episode. I used to watch American Dad a lot back in high school. It's on season 16. Wow,
Holy shit.
yeah, it shows on season 16.
No, it's not
Yeah,
canceled.
or it's on season or it's renewed for season 16.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
going. It's actually renewed for 17. Well, they've been renewed for a 17th season. No, they're on season 16
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I misspoke.
And they've been renewed for 17.
I used to watch American Dad a lot back in high school when it was on like when it was updated like to where all of its seasons were on Netflix. I haven't gone back and really looked at American Dad since then. Which, I don't know. I know we were supposed to be talking about Futurama, but like I don't know. There really isn't a whole lot to say other than the fact that Futurama is like really underrated. Its sense of humor is like relatively unique. It's Simpsons inspired, but it doesn't quite feel like The Simpsons and how witty it is. It's very much so a show where like you can watch the same
It's more
episode
zany.
3 times and find a new.
It's more
joke.
zany than
That's
The
true,
Simpsons. Its sense of humor is definitely like how the new Simpsons is. That's more how Futurama
Right.
is. Like The Simpsons back in the day, if they ever did something wacky, it was so out of place that it made you laugh because it was so random. Futurama does that all the time.
Which I mean, it has the setting for that with it being in space.
Right. It's in the future.
Yeah. In the future. But
Which is hilarious because Futurama, I think, does a better job of like commentary on technology and stuff than a lot of these new shows that have come out that have tried to do that. Like in a way where Rick and Morty, like it is commenting on sci-fi, but like
Yeah, well,
what is it really saying?
Rick and Morty,
like Rick and Morty is more about the
commenting
characters.
is commenting on sci-fi, whereas Futurama is a sci-fi that makes fun of sci-fis. If that makes any sense, sci-fi.
is Rick and Morty commenting about sci-fi? Not really.
It's more,
It's a
I guess, just
setting.
exploring
but it's not
the
like an actual
ideas
sci-fi
of
because
sci-fi.
sci-fi stories and literature and all that. The entire purpose of it is to make a parallel or to comment on something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what Futurama
Right. Rick
does.
and Morty's not commentary. It's just
It's commentary on like human
Yeah.
condition, not so much the technology or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like that show
Well,
is
I mean,
more about nihilism.
that's also like a thing that sci-fi can comment about. Like, let's not.
But I don't think sci-fi owns.
No,
nihilism.
but sci-fi also comments on the human condition and like the way the human psyche and like all that. What?
But it doesn't do it in a sci-fi way. Like the science, like I guess, you know
it
what I mean?
kind of
Like,
does. Like,
Rick is just
Yeah.
smart, and it just so happens that he's smart when it comes to science-related stuff. I feel like if you were to take Rick and you were to put him in any other situation, he would be just as smart. His dependence is not on
right,
this thing.
but I mean that's just because they can't make a well-rounded character or whatever. But they're trying to say that because he's smart, he's nihilistic because.
Yeah.
technology.
Well, he knows that
Right.
nothing matters, and blah blah blah.
I think that-
blah blah blah. Dan Harmon's stupid.
I think
circle.
that they said that they like
Whoa.
word for word said that in one of the episodes. Fucking
That wasn't a shit talk at Dan Harmon. A dig at Dan Harmon, by the way. It's just he has this video where he explains his character arc, and he's very into like it's a circle, and he's very into a circle. Look it up. It's interesting. Sorry to interrupt. I just yeah.
yeah, no, I get it, but yeah, it's just they say it in one of the episodes. Like I think, what's her face, the mother. Yeah, Beth was like, "Am I evil?" And then Rick was like, "No, worse. You're smart." And, I mean, that's fake deep and whatever, but that's what they're trying to do.
I guess for me, maybe Rick and Morty just feels more on the nose with that to me. You know, like I feel like the sci-fi element is less important.
You can
to
take the sci-fi
lessons
element
learned
out and still have the
in
same show,
Rick and
basically.
Morty.
Rick and Morty could be in a fantasy setting and be
Right.
about, you know what I mean, and be about the exact same thing. It could be a superhero
Right,
show
where
and
I
be
think-
the exact same thing.
Right. Where I think my point with Futurama just doing it kind of, I can't even really say better because it's just different. It's just doing a different thing. Like Future, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden getting all defensive, but Futurama, like it wouldn't be the same show if it wasn't for the fact that it took place in the future. Like it just wouldn't work. That's the show. Fry's not just out of place because he's from like a different city. He's literally in a different
Yeah,
time.
and I guess like that, just from a premise perspective, is why it works much more. Why it's much better at like social commentary, in my opinion, because it literally is a story about a fish out of water.
And it's not like an alternative world. It's our
Right.
world. Just they're 1,000 years in the future.
1,000 years caricatured.
And like the whole thing
Yeah.
is that not much has changed at all.
Yeah, it's just everything's
Right.
more extreme.
Which is right. And honestly, some of the technology we have today is actually more advanced than the stuff they had from Futurama. Oops.
But yeah, there we go. I really like Futurama. Like, if I was to do a top 10 favorites, I'm sure Futurama's making the top 10.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of its peer, it's like, because I don't consider South Park or The Simpsons its
Right.
peer. South Park
They're the,
and The
like,
Simpsons
first
are its
generation,
father. Right. But of that like next tier, that era where it's that and Family Guy and like Venture Brothers and home movies
We should
and all
rewatch
that kind of
Venture
stuff. I
Brothers.
think Futurama's probably Venture Brothers is so good. But I think Futurama's probably the best
I
of
agree.
those. I'll give it to Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is probably
It's probably what?
maybe. I was gonna say maybe it's the best of
Right now?
the adult comedies
I
today.
think so.
But,
I don't know what I think is better.
I'd have to think about that. I
BoJack
dig
Horseman is
BoJack
pretty
Horseman.
good.
The fucking horse show.
That show is what Rick and Morty wants to be.
I think so. I think the things that like people like about Rick and Morty is not the stuff in BoJack Horseman, but the stuff that will eventually make Rick and Morty a greatest of all time is the stuff that BoJack Horseman does.
You think
better.
Rick and Morty has
like
the potential
the
to be the
emotional?
greatest of all time?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
look at that.
If it doesn't,
If in
you know,
season 4,
stay up its own
yeah.
ass. Season 3, and I think maybe they feel the same way, like with Dan Harmon coming out and talking about how he didn't like how some episodes turned out and stuff like that. I think maybe they should take a step back and like ground themselves a little bit because the show is a little too aware of itself, and for it to only be in its 3rd season to already be doing that.
I don't think Rick and Morty should last past like 5 seasons.
Well, I mean, how many episodes were they ordered from Adult Swim? Like 100 or something?
Rick and Morty should not be on TV past like 5 seasons. Because that's going to be very tiresome.
Yeah, I think it just being such a meta show, it's tough to keep that going.
Yeah. Because eventually you will become what
Like,
you make fun of.
Exactly. That's the thing about Futurama. Futurama, while it is obviously holding up that mirror, that black mirror, it's like it exists in itself. Like it is a breathing, living world. Like the whole show is not. Like Rick is almost definitely aware that he's a cartoon character in a cartoon show. You know, like I don't ever for a second think Fry and them think that. Rick knows
And I much
that.
prefer
And
the
Rick is
professor
just
as
like
mad scientist to Rick.
good news.
Because he's just as
everyone.
smart as Rick in terms of existentialism, but is like way less asshole.
Good news. And he's more pleasant.
Like all the episodes where he accepts his death are kind of like, oh. Okay. Like it's nihilistic, but it's not obnoxiously nihilistic.
Good news, everyone. I've got bad news. Also, Bender himself, I don't think there is a character in Rick and Morty, in my opinion, as entertaining as Bender.
Oh, Bender and Rick and Morty introduced me to John DiMaggio.
That
Not Rick and Morty.
that scene I was
Futurama.
talking about was a deleted scene. That's why you guys don't know about it.
Okay.
Okay, because I didn't remember that at all.
Bender is hilarious.
He's so amazing. And like you said, John DiMaggio, that was like, I think, what was the backstory behind that? Like,
A bunch of people.
they just didn't know what kind of voice to
Yeah, a
give
bunch of
him.
people came in and did the I am robot beep boop, and then John DiMaggio was like, drunk uncle?
Uncle.
And they were like,
And
yeah,
like,
that works.
for a long time, every time I heard John DiMaggio in something, I was like, oh, look, it's Bender. Like in Teen Titans.
When he was
I
Brother
think his
Blood.
name was Brother Blood. I'm
Bite
like,
my
that's
shiny
Bender.
metal ass.
Metal ash. Shinier than yours, meatbag. It's a great character. Mr. Zoidberg is also very
And
funny.
so tragic.
No, he's maybe the saddest cartoon character. Between him and Barney from The Simpsons. Sad character.
But people like Mo
And maybe
kind of
Meg
likes
from
like people
Family
kind of
Guy.
like Barney sometimes. Everyone
Yeah, nobody
hates
likes
Zoidberg,
Zoidberg.
always.
But see, unlike Meg from Family Guy, Zoidberg is kind of an asshole. Like, he does kind of bring it on himself.
But Zoidberg
He's a
being
selfish-
hated isn't like being hated for the point because he's fucked. Like whenever
Right.
they take him out to places in public, he's just fucked. So you understand why no one likes him. And, like he has a reason,
And he's an
and he's
asshole.
a doctor, so he has a reason to be there, but he's incompetent.
Woo!
It's a funny character.
I guess of the main characters, the one who I never like clicked with was Amy, because I just
I
don't
don't get the joke.
get
Yeah.
it.
And I don't think they did either.
Yeah, like, they
'cause
never
they've done
really
a couple
did
different
much.
things with Amy. Like I think, like when the show came back, it was more defined that she's just a ditzy airhead.
Right. And in the original, she sometimes was and she sometimes wasn't. Like, when she first came on, I looked at her as, like, the foil to Leela, where Leela's, like, kind of a tomboy, and she's very serious, and it's very smart and headstrong, where Amy is not any of those
Yeah.
things. And then sometimes she was. Futurama also brought us Snoof Snoof.
Death by
Also,
Snooze Snooze.
Zach Brannigan is like really funny. I think.
Oh, he's
No,
so
he
amazing.
actually might be just as sad as Zoidberg.
He was originally voiced by Troy McClure's voice actor before he
Yeah.
died, and I like to think that he's like the descendant of Troy McClure. 'Cause he's kind of the same
I mean, they
character.
look
He's
the
so
same,
pathetic.
yeah.
They do. They talk just like, obviously they
Yeah.
had the same voice actor. And then Billy West, I think, started doing his voice after he died. And Billy West is Fry and
Everyone.
the
Yeah.
professor. He's amazing, by the way. I
No, the
love
voice
Billy West.
like
Billy West
cast
is
of Futurama is actually like phenomenal. Like we talk about
Yep.
The Simpsons
And,
all the time, but I think that Futurama doesn't get the credit it deserves.
It's too smart for people.
well, they have a lot of the same.
That's true.
They have a lot of the same like recurrent voices. Like Trey McNeil, she's the crazy
Yeah.
cat lady, and
Yeah.
and the principal's mother in The Simpsons, and
Yeah.
she's mom and whatever the little Tiny Tim thing, whatever his name is.
Yeah. A little robot.
Actually-
Aw. The Futurama has amazing Christmas specials.
I just remembered something, and I'm gonna be a little devil's advocate here, just to generate some discussion. You said that Rick and Morty would be the same show no matter what setting it was in, like if it was a fantasy setting or whatever. Futurama
Yeah.
arguably can be the same thing because they did it themselves. No,
Disenchantment,
not
but
Disenchantment. There was an
doesn't work.
episode, a few episodes where they went into a fantasy world in Futurama, and it worked just the same.
I don't think that it worked just the same because everyone was aware of the setting they were in, and they adapted on purpose to that. Like they knew what was going on.
They didn't know what was going on.
Yes, the World of Warcraft episode.
No, the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
No, they weren't aware that they were in a D&D thing.
I don't remember that
Oh,
episode.
I know what you're talking about. I
The
think it was a
Dice of
couple
Power.
episodes.
It was the episode where it was like a mini series within the season where mom and
But I feel like that episode is different because that's a special, and in that episode, characters are acting more like caricatures of themselves than they would normally. Like everything is what it is, and then turned up like a couple, like several, like 100 degrees. Like I get
Yeah.
what you're saying, but and I also again don't think that the fish out of water thing works when this world is like, what's Fry's role in that? Is he a similar thing where he doesn't know what's going on? I don't think so.
So it's kind of a Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons thing. He is basically the ring bearer in that episode. He has the dice of power, basically,
Okay.
and it's his job to go and throw it into the volcano.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, but you get what I'm saying where I don't think that it works in that setting because if everyone was aware of what's going on, if Fry wasn't, then okay. But because this is just the world that everyone's in, it doesn't seem weird to everyone. I don't think that it's the same type of thing in terms of commentary about a fish out of water and the like hyperbolic display of the present, because it's not really about that. Like, again, that's just a special. Like, maybe if the show took place in that world it would be different, but like with that just being a special, the joke is more about the scenario than it is commentating about humanity. It's just, hey, let's make D&D jokes.
Yeah,
Not,
not come.
it's not as much about what they would actually
Let's
like.
comment
That's just,
on nerds and not about society. Yeah.
yeah, that's just a scenario of forcing the characters to mold to the joke instead of doing like everything the other way, like forcing the characters to mold to the plot instead of doing it the other way around. And with it just being like a cute little special type thing, it works in that situation. So
I guess, like I was trying to say earlier, it doesn't feel like I'm just shitting on Rick and Morty. Like I said, I think they just do different things. Like, I think Futurama is just a stronger sci-fi show. But if you had to ask me which one is, like, quote-unquote deeper, I guess it would be Rick and Morty. You know what? Just because, like, Futurama's not that type of show. Like, they go deep, but it's not
the
a
point of the
character
show,
analysis.
like Rick and
Right,
Morty
like-
is a therapy session for Rick. Like, that's kind of what the show, or I guess for both Rick and Morty, because Morty has changed.
Though I will say Leela does have a little
That's
bit
true,
of that
yeah.
early on when trying to figure out, like, where she comes from. Because at first she thought she was an alien, then we learned she's a mutant. And...
Yeah.
But it's just not as pronounced as it is in Rick and Morty, because that's not the point of
Right.
Futurama. Futurama is more broad, I guess. Rick and Morty is very specific. It's more about, like, family dynamic and, you know, this one character, like this super smart character.
But there we go.
2-hour episode. We did it.
Leela treated Fry not so great in some.
Oh, when the show came back, their relation, like at first I was like, how are they going to make this relationship feel earned? Because Leela was kind of just an asshole to Fry. But they did.
Yeah. Yeah, it took them a minute to get to it, and it was a little bit of the thing we were literally just complaining about, where the two main characters get together. But I feel like they worked for it,
Right.
and that was like the point from the beginning. That never was a surprise. Fry always liked Leela, even when he didn't. He liked her. Also, I just dislike less characters in Futurama than I do in Family Guy. And Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I genuinely do not like their parents. I think Beth
Jerry,
and
pieces of shit.
Jerry are
That's arguably the point of those characters, but
the
like,
You can have a character be a piece
Well-
of shit. Bender's a piece of shit. Bender is a bad person, but we like Bender. They're just pieces of shit. Yeah.
Cartman, Homer.
And the thing with Beth and Jerry, like why it doesn't work as well for, I guess it kind of does for Jerry, even though in season 3 he gets what he wants back. They don't get their comeuppance like Cartman and Bender do.
Sometimes.
We've seen it happen. You know what I mean? Like they're less, and the characters treat them a certain way, so they feel less. It feels like they're less vindicated in how they act compared to Beth.
Yeah, I guess Beth is more my problem. They'll probably do that with her next season because they've, left us on the is she a clone cliff. Oop, sorry, forgot you haven't seen the end of the season.
No,
right?
I've seen the last episode and I've seen that episode.
Okay.
But I don't know. Rick and Morty poo poo. What did you say, Josh? Doo-doo
doo-doo caca.
Yeah.
I rewatched Rick and Morty earlier this year, and I remembered how much I used to love it. So maybe that's why I'm being so nice today. Because even season 3, like, I really, really didn't like season 3 when it first came out. Rewatching, I was like, I mean, I still don't like these episodes as much, but, like, meh. It's better than most of the other adult cartoons out, so.
Right.
It's no Big Mouth. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
We
okay.
here at
I think that
we
does
here at
this
the Ig'rance
episode.
podcast give Big Mouth an 11 out of 10.
That's the best show I've ever seen in my life.
Big Mouth is
All right,
nominated
on
for an
that,
Emmy
I
this
think I'm
year,
just
so
gonna
fuck
end the episode
everyone
now.
and everything.
Bye, I guess.
Bye.
Question mark. Look at us. See? We went from talking about Josh's pendulous testicle to having an in-depth conversation about what was that?
My pendulous testicle.
Wow.
Oh, it just spazzes out every now and then.
When you mention it.
Oh, okay.
Present them.
Well, there we go. We'll be back next time. Thanks, folks.
Bye.